hour in the park can take an hour of park in the day can take 20 years. 20 years. I mean, add 20 years to your life. It's a beautiful.
You are just beholden by Bidwell Park.
I love it.
Awesome.
Well, the dog and I were walking. And we were right over by the entrance gate on Vallambrosia's side, and I saw a deer, and I told the dog, "Deer, look at it, deer." So Charlie came running over to look, and they were about 20 yards apart, and it was a really large buck. He was like a 3-4, must have been a good 150 pounds, and the dog was about 20 yards from the deer, and he looked at him, and the dog froze up. You could see the deer with his breath coming up and the steam coming up in the sun, and the dog was paralyzed. He didn't know what to do. There was kind of a standoff, and finally the deer moved, and the dog jerked back, and the deer ran off. But it was so funny because of the size of the deer.
Charlie, what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
He's,
look at that.
He's
Look
eating
at-
leftovers.
He's
Huh?
eating leftovers. Thank you so much, man. This one's cool. We're at the Nature Center. July. Mountain lion in tree in front of where I'm at.
My name is Minnie. We moved up from the Bay Area about 4 months ago, and it's just awesome up here. You can walk your dogs off a leash. Beautiful scenery. I've seen a mountain lion and coyotes, and no rattlesnakes yet, thank goodness, but it's just absolutely beautiful here.
My name is Teresa Halfpenny. It's okay to use this, and we'll tell you why we're here.
Awesome. You guys are cute. You're a cute couple.
Thank you.
Well, I'm an electrician. I was back east, and for the longest time, I was working just to live. It's working paycheck to paycheck, and it's real expensive out there. A pack of cigarettes like $8 for a pack of cigarettes, and the work died out. I mean, you'd pay $800 for one bedroom small apartment in the ghetto. You can keep your freaking bike outside, and
Our bikes got stolen.
yeah, I mean, they take everything around there, and I'm just trying to start over fresh. I mean, I called my brother. He said he's out here, and he said he's doing electrical work. He's got a bunch of other contractors, and he was talking about, yeah, you need to come on my team, come on out here, and I called him, and I called him when I got out here, and he's like, he changed his story. Oh, I'm staying with somebody else, so I can't really, bring you in, so kind of told me to kick rocks in another, nicer way, I guess you could say. So, I don't know. We're going to figure out, go to the
How long you
homeless
guys
shelter.
been in this situation? How long you guys been looking for a place to stay?
I've been looking for a place to stay now since the end of August.
End of August?
Yeah. I was
Out in the Philly area?
Out in the Philly area, which was a lot harder because I thought I'd come out here, pitch a tent, but apparently there's no camping out here either. I don't know. I like it out here. It's pretty. But I know I can get a license, just get on my feet again. That's all I'm trying to do. I know how to figure it out.
I love talking to people, and these folks are the bomb. They're M&M, like my dad's pizza company. Mark and Maggie, you guys can figure out who's who. I just hope you could have something you could say that's in your hearts and your minds about the folks you see out here in the Chico community, the homeless community.
Well, having been actually homeless in Chico once upon a time in the 90s, back when it was, quite frankly, a really beautiful place to be. I used to spend a lot of time in the park. We'd go dumpster diving. We'd go to the Jesus Center. There was a place to get breakfast and dinner. And, I was into a lot of crafts at that time, so it wasn't like I was absolutely doing nothing. But I was more into my art and just kind of living free and seeing where the universe would take me kind of thing, which was really delightful. I have a lot of really fond memories of those times and feeling a sense of community and belonging to the group of folks that I hung out with. And we spent a lot of time actually right here playing footbag and just generally having, a great time together. But I've since, many years later, have been for some time now employed
You got something you'd want to say to other folks that are your age in this situation?
Hang tough, man. And
Keep your faith.
keep your faith. You know?
Awesome, dude. Awesome.
You got to. And everything happens for a reason. I can tell everywhere I went, I found pennies and nickels. And that's, you know, I say it's a teardrop from an angel or kisses from angels, but everywhere I go, I feel guided, and I never feel in destitute. You know, I'm right now I'm a little tired. My back hurts from carrying shit, but you know, I don't know.
So what do you have to say?
I like it here, and I'm gonna try and stay here, and guess try and get into the shelter, like you said, and
The Torres? Oh,
Do
I think it's the Sabbath House, the one that's over at the Jesus Center.
do the 45-day program and have my own place to live.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Have you noticed the homeless community here?
Oh, so many.
There's a lot of homeless
They're
folks.
by
that live-
choice.
You think a lot are by choice?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I have a son who's chosen to do that.
Really?
He hops trains, and I just heard from him. He's now in Missouri, hopping trains. He's going to Boston. A lot of the young people, it's kind of like a underground culture of, it's like a punk movement mostly, and they're doing it by choice. They go to
Interesting.
the soup kitchens and they panhandle. They call it spanging. And they have all kinds of different terminology for things. Like
Yeah,
it's a
they
whole
do.
different language that a lot of them are by choice.
Interesting. You think a lot of the youth are by choice? More of the younger?
Most definitely. He could come home anytime and get a job, and he just doesn't want to follow any rules. He doesn't want any responsibility.
This is not how to keep a camp. Filthy. I'm actually picking up trash and tearing it out of here.
I worked at Chico Natural Foods for over a decade, and there were a lot of homeless people that used to hang out front because that's a great population to target, everybody with a big heart on their sleeve. But people would come and, basically make requests. But as a produce manager, there was a gal that used to come in repeatedly in the back door, and I would give her old produce, and she would tell me how she had her kids to feed. But one time she actually came in and ripped me off, stole my purse. So there's always that sort of razor's edge that you walk when you try to help folks who are pretty desperate, because desperate times sometimes call for desperate measures. So sad that our current governmental structure, whether local or even federal, doesn't have enough programs to address the issue. Here in Chico, there's I want to say a shelter, but it's a dry shelter, meaning you have to, no substance abuse whatsoever. You have to be completely, clean drug-wise. And there are a ton of people on the street with drug-related issues, mental health-related issues, multiple, issues. And so there's just a lot of folks that fall between the cracks and don't get any services whatsoever. And I would even suggest they become worse as a result because of the neglect and the lack of attention and provisions for them. In those days, in my 20s, it was somewhat by choice because I just wanted to be free and not have any commitments. But other folks don't have a choice. And I would, even vets, there's just a lot of people in the street these days for a variety of reasons, and it makes my heart ache, actually.
Anything you'd like to say about the homeless here in Chico? Or
It's a huge problem. A society that's decent would not allow the situation to exist. The presidential election we just had was a choice between what kind of society do we want on the one hand versus how much government can we afford. Let's hope that the side that said what kind of society do we want prevailed.
Drew had an alcohol issue. He wasn't drinking every day, but when he would get drunk, he would get very angry and agitated. So I basically told him he had to quit drinking about 2 months ago, and he's been sober since.
I kind of quit.
He slowed down before that, but
When I first met her, I was drinking because obviously it's cheap. and at the end of the day, I work with miserable people, in the construction business, especially out east, man. They're just a bunch of knuckleheads. It makes you just want to go home and just get drunk and forget about the day,
Definitely.
But
not
then
to
when
see your brotherly
I didn't
love.
realize it changed me so much. I've always been by myself. I met her, you know. I realized I get a little amped up. And it's different when me in my room where I can sit there and listen to music and get all hyped up, you know, and pound down liquor and get all yell at the wind. But when I'm around her, it scares her, and you know.
Interesting. A good woman, tamed by a good woman.